Are you an OnlyFans creator feeling, well, completely stuck on that endless social media promotion treadmill? Constantly posting, trying to attract subscribers, only to find yourself just swamped with low-value interactions and, frankly, nowhere near your income goals. You are absolutely not alone. So many creators are toiling endlessly, posting all day, every day, just to attract subscribers who, well, who aren't interested in spending much at all. Today, we're diving deep into a completely different strategy, a real game changer, actually. It promises to bypass that relentless social media grind entirely. It's all about focusing intensely on quality over sheer quantity. We're exploring some pretty profound insights from an experienced OnlyFans marketing coach, Butler Camlord, and his truly revolutionary UberFans method. And just quickly, for those of you who are ready to leap into this smarter approach right now, the purchase link for Butler Camlord's OnlyFans high-ticket subscriber course is readily available in the description of this deep dive. This is your direct pathway to attracting and cultivating those elusive top-spending fans. Okay, so our mission today is to unpack exactly why this high-ticket subscriber strategy is described as so much easier and faster, and, how it can fundamentally transform your life as an OnlyFans creator. Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah, and what's truly fascinating here is the perspective of Butler Camlord himself. He describes himself as old as granite, but experienced and knowledgeable beyond all get-out, which, gives you a sense. He's seen countless creators struggle with what's become the traditional approach, the really exhausting one. He saw models just toiling endlessly on social media, posting content all day, every single day, only to attract this high volume of low-value subscribers who just weren't spending much beyond maybe a basic subscription fee. He recognized that the conventional spray-and-pray social media promotion method, well, maybe it works for huge brands with big teams, but it just wasn't working efficiently for independent creators trying to build significant income. It was just creating burnout, really, without the financial return.
That sounds incredibly frustrating. And honestly, it's a really common narrative we hear from creators. So his radical solution was to completely bypass social media. That seems bold, especially when traditional advice so often emphasizes being everywhere on social media, right?
Yeah.
What was the core insight behind that?
Exactly. It is bold. His insight, though, forged from years in the adult digital marketing business. It was that the solution didn't lie in broader, more generic reach, but in highly targeted engagement, really specific. The key was identifying and then nurturing the really big spenders. He realized the huge effort put into social media just wasn't yielding the kind of return needed for truly significant income. It was disproportionate. So his UberFans method cut straight to the core, bypassing what he colorfully calls the social media bar free.
Bar free. I like that.
Yeah, it captures it, doesn't it? That overwhelming, often low return, sometimes pretty toxic grind of constant posting and managing interactions on mainstream social platforms. You can feel like creators are just spewing content into a void.
Social media barfery.
Yeah.
I can definitely see why that phrase resonates. It really captures the sheer exhaustion and often low reward of that constant output. So, okay, if we're not spending all our time on social media, where are we finding these high-ticket subscribers, these whales, as you mentioned?
Right. That's the crucial question. And Butler's method pinpoints exactly where to find these elusive whales and high-ticket fans. The industry secret he reveals is that certain specific campsites, these are the places where these mega whales love to hang out. Now, he cautions that most campsites are, frankly, a waste of precious time and effort. You could spend ages on the wrong ones. But his course guides you to the precise, highly effective platforms that are basically designed to attract these high-value spenders. And it requires far less work and time invested compared to that endless social media hustle. These aren't just any campsites. They're platforms where individuals are already kind of primed and accustomed to spending significant amounts for personalized, high-quality interaction.
Okay, so it's about going directly to the source then, to these curated environments where the big spenders already are, rather than trying to pull them out of a general social media audience that might just be looking for free content. That makes a lot of strategic sense, actually. And beyond just finding them, what are the other practical benefits of this approach? You mentioned he claims it makes doing OnlyFans fantastically easier. How so?
Oh, absolutely it does. Firstly, think about this. It completely bypasses the sheer drudgery and, honestly, the mental load of constantly promoting your OnlyFans on social media. Imagine reclaiming hours of your day, hours previously spent creating posts, responding to comments, battling those algorithms.
Yeah, that alone sounds amazing.
Right. Secondly, it eliminates the need for chatters and sexters on your account. For many creators, managing that high volume of low-value DMs and, demanding often repetitive roleplay stuff, it can be a full-time job in itself, often requiring them to hire dedicated staff, which eats into profits. But with this method, because you're primarily dealing with just a handful of high-spending subscribers, you only need to manage GMs with them personally. And they are, as Butler describes them, actually cool to talk to. They
Yeah.
tend to value genuine connection over just demanding performances.
Wait, hang on. No chatters or sexters needed? That's a massive shift in workload and just the operational complexity for so many creators. It really sounds like it streamlines the entire business side of things. Frees up a lot of mental bandwidth, I imagine.
It undeniably does. And furthermore, a really core part of the method is teaching you how to bond, how to truly connect with these high-value men. Men who are specifically looking for an exciting online-only relationship, one based on mutual respect, shared interests. This isn't just about fleeting transactional interactions. It's about cultivating lasting, long-term online relationships. And those can produce steady, consistent earnings for you over a long period. This approach skillfully leverages, fundamental human psychology, the desire for connection, for validation, for exclusivity to build that kind of loyal, enduring bond. It's a fundamental pivot from volume to value, really changes the game.
That's a powerful idea, focusing on building genuine, albeit online, relationships for consistent income rather than that constant, exhausting churn of new, low-spending subscribers. It sounds so much more sustainable in the long run. But what about privacy, though? That's a huge, often unspoken concern for many creators, especially those who want to keep their professional life separate from their personal one.
Privacy is absolutely critical, yeah. And the OnlyFans method addresses it directly and robustly. It dramatically reduces your exposure. Think about it. Would you rather be broadcasting your content to potentially millions of anonymous people on public social media platforms?
Probably not.
Or to a select handful of high-value potential whale subs in a much more controlled environment? The method only uses platforms that incorporate robust geo-filtering capabilities. This is key. This means you can effectively block viewers from specific geographical areas, crucially, your local area, your state, even your country if you want. This provides a significant and, I think, very reassuring layer of discretion. It ensures that people in your immediate vicinity won't easily discover your activities.
Okay, that's a massive relief for anyone concerned about real-world exposure or just maintaining a distinct professional boundary. That's really important. And what about building a sustainable business beyond just relying on these specific platforms? I mean, what happens if a platform changes its rules or if something unexpected happens? Is there a backup?
That's a great question. And this is where a critical, often overlooked aspect of the method comes into play. Email marketing. The method meticulously shows you how to use email marketing to systematically build lists of your most devoted, high-value followers. The significant advantage here is that this email list becomes your owned asset. It can never be taken away from you by a platform, unlike those here today, zap tomorrow social media accounts that, let's be honest, many models have grown to distrust and dislike managing. Your email list provides a stable, direct, and completely owned channel for communication with your most valuable fans. It's truly a foundational piece for long-term business security.
Got it. So it's not just about finding the whales, but also about securing those connections for the long term, creating a direct line that you control. This really sounds like a way to build a much more robust and less precarious business than many creators currently experience. And you mentioned it helps you get over that 10K per month without needing a big team. How quickly can someone realistically expect to see results with this? What does this sort of ramp-up period look like?
Well, Butler is very clear. He won't promise you'll get rich overnight. I mean, that's generally unrealistic and, frankly, dishonest in this space. However, he does state that this method streamlines the process of cultivating high-spending, high-ticket fans fantastically. That's his word. So you can start seeing very significant earnings in the first 2 or 3 weeks.
2 or 3 weeks, wow.
Yeah. This rapid initial traction is because you're directly targeting pre-qualified high spenders rather than just waiting for general audience growth on social media. It's designed for immediate efficiency and impactful results, helping you work smarter, not just harder and harder.
That's a pretty compelling timeline for very significant earnings. It suggests that the focus on high-ticket interactions truly accelerates the income potential in a way the traditional volume-based approach just can't match. And for those who might be new to this, or perhaps don't feel they fit the quote-unquote typical model image, does this method still work for them? Is there like an ideal look or niche required?
No, not at all. He emphatically clarifies that the OnlyFans method is designed for blazing newbies and seasoned models alike. Covers everyone. You don't even need expensive equipment or a fancy studio setup. You can stream effectively using just your phone. And crucially, it's extremely flexible and broadly applicable to just about everyone, regardless of their appearance or chosen niche. High-ticket whales, it turns out, can be attracted by models in all sorts of niches. BBW, alt-girl, girl next door. With or without tattoos, any hair color, curvy or slender. It doesn't matter as much as you might think. He emphasizes that there are plenty of affluent individuals out there looking for connections with people from all walks of life and with diverse aesthetics. The real value is in the connection, not some narrow physical ideal.
That's such a powerful point. It reinforces inclusivity in a truly meaningful way, which is often a challenge in this space, right? It's not just about one narrow aesthetic. And he even mentions age is no impediment, noting that MILF and GLF niches are absolutely exploding lately. So it's clearly about broad appeal. What about the time commitment, though? Many creators are juggling full-time jobs, families, other responsibilities. Can this method realistically work for someone with limited hours?
That's another area where this method really shines and differentiates itself. Butler definitely acknowledges that time is a precious commodity for everyone. We're all busy. Unlike social media strategies that seem to demand constant, almost round-the-clock posting and engagement, this method focuses on high-impact interactions. Concentrated on those specific, targeted campsites, you can actually start with just a few dedicated hours a week, following the course's streamlined schedule to maximize your whale exposure during the optimal times. Again, it comes back to working smarter, maximizing the return on every single hour invested, rather than simply putting in more hours grinding away. It's honestly perfect for creators juggling a myriad of other things in their lives.
Okay, so it's really about optimizing those precious few hours for maximum return, rather than just endlessly throwing content into the social media void, hoping something eventually sticks. It really is a complete paradigm shift from the constant grind mentality. He sounds very confident in his method. What makes the Uber fans method different from maybe other whale hunting strategies that might be out there? How does it really stand apart?
Well, he explains it as a tightly put together strategy for OnlyFans that cuts straight to the meat. No fluff. And it completely bypasses all that social media barfree we talked about. It's described as a direct, no-nonsense way to access the biggest spending individuals in the adult content world. Individuals who value genuine connection and exclusive interaction over those fleeting, often commoditized exchanges you get elsewhere. So essentially, it's smarter, it's quicker, and according to him and his clients, way more effective. It's been battle-tested and refined after a decade of coaching creators to what he calls life-changing earnings. It prioritizes building sustainable, high-value relationships over just mass appeal.
And he even brings up a specific example, doesn't he, to kind of quell any skepticism about these whales even existing. He mentions that shocking story about Sophie Rain, where she reportedly has a single high-ticket subscriber on her OnlyFans who has spent over $6 million on her.
Yeah, $6 million.
That's an absolutely staggering figure. And it certainly solidifies the concept of mega whales existing as more than just, a myth or an exaggeration. It makes the abstract incredibly tangible.
It absolutely does. It puts that whole concept of mega whales into a very real, tangible perspective. Like you said, it's not just a myth. These individuals are out there, and they are willing to spend truly extraordinary amounts for the right connection. For that sense of genuine engagement and personalized attention, the Uber fans method is precisely about knowing where to find them and, crucially, how to cultivate those deeply valuable long-term relationships that can lead to such significant earnings. It's really about tapping into a completely different segment of the market. So yeah, to summarize the core of the Uber fans method, it truly represents a no-nonsense, smarter, quicker, and just significantly more effective approach to OnlyFans earnings. It completely bypasses the exhausting social media barfree by focusing instead on identifying and engaging high-ticket whales found on very specific, high-value campsites. And this brings a whole host of compelling benefits we discussed. Vastly reduced drudgery, the elimination of the constant need for chatters or sexters, increased personal discretion through geo-filtering, which is huge, the power of cultivating long-term, meaningful online relationships. And importantly, the ability to build an unshakable, owned email list for future stability and direct contact is meticulously designed for everyone, from blazing newbies just starting out to seasoned models. And it even works effectively with limited time, precisely because it focuses on those high-impact interactions rather than endless low-return content creation.
Right. So if everything we've discussed today resonates with you, and you're truly ready to harness the power of the Uber fans method, to hook your first high-ticket whale sub and potentially see your OnlyFans top ranking dramatically improve, then the purchase link for Butler Camlord's Uber fans Magnet ebook course is ready for you right there in the description of this deep dive. Remember that compelling potential he mentioned for very significant earnings in the first 2 or 3 weeks. by working smarter, not just endlessly harder.
And, this raises a really important question, I think, for all creators to consider. In a world that seems obsessed with broadcasting to millions for just fleeting engagement, what if your most impactful and financially rewarding path to freedom? What if it lies not in wider impersonal reach, but actually in deeper, more meaningful connections with a select, high-value few? How might shifting your focus from chasing likes to cultivating loyalty fundamentally redefine your entire creative and business journey? Something to think about.
A powerful thought to consider indeed. Take a moment, explore that purchase link in the description, and truly think about how this new, targeted approach could transform your OnlyFans career and maybe your relationship with your work. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive.